Assalamu alaikum and hello everyone. Welcome to Mathematics with Shahab Yaqub. Now here is the P3 test paper and two topics were tested on this particular paper. The first one is trigonometry, the second one is differentiation. Let's look at question number 1. It says by first expanding 2 sine x minus 30 degrees, express this whole thing in the form r sine x minus alpha, where r is positive and alpha is acute. Give the exact value of r and the value of alpha correct to two decimal places. Now first of all, yes, we know that this question is about trigonometry. That was very obvious. The second thing, it's about addition formula. And the third thing, it's about compound angle formula. So now first of all, this thing needs to be opened up, this sine x minus 30. So the formula that we are using is sine a minus b, which is written as sine a cosine b minus cosine a sine b. Of course, this formula is written in the formula booklet, which is MF19, but with excessive practice, and that is the only way of securing an A star. With excessive practice, you remember it. So now if I highlight this thing right over here, sine x minus 30, sine x cos 30, cos x sine 30, we use the exact trig ratio. Cos of 30 is root 3 over 2, sine of 30 is half. Open the bracket with the 2 and it simplifies to this. That is the first thing over here. By first expanding, this thing is done. The next part, that is express this thing in this particular form. So now write that missing cos x, expand, we get this thing. And now we are converting it into this form, which is r sine bracket x minus alpha. So now the rule is, when it's starting with sine, first a sine, then a cos, we convert it into sine. So the first coefficient is denoted as a, second coefficient is b. I use the shortcut, which is perfectly legal in this question. Instead of expanding and comparing coefficient and solving simultaneously, which is a waste of time, a is square root of 3, b is 2, r is a square plus b square, the whole thing square root, this is root 7. This is the exact form. Alpha is tan inverse 2 over root 3. Use a calculator, make sure it's in the degree mode, and they are asking for the answer correct to 2 dp. So that is for 5 marks, very basic working. Now this is the first part. There is also a second part. Hence solve this equation. Now this, everything over here has been converted over here. That is root 7 sine x minus 49.11 degrees. So that is replaced. And now this is equaling to 1. This is equaling to 1. So as soon as you make sine the subject, now this is a P1 equation. And there are certain things that you need to know in P1. The most basic one, that is about the quadrants and the whole scenario related to that. So we are dealing with sine, and sine is positive in first and second quadrant. In the first quadrant, x is equals to, or let me use the symbol theta, that is equals to basic angle, and over here theta is 180 minus basic angle. Now alpha over here is the basic angle. I can also use the symbol beta. Now don't confuse this alpha with this alpha. This is alpha of this compound angle format. This alpha you need to calculate it yourself. Now what is the first part? The first part is about the quadrants. The second part is modification of range. Subtract 49.11, subtract. Then calculation of the basic angle, that is 22.21. And now if I want to, I can change the basic angle so that someone watching the video does not get confused. Let me change alpha from here. Let me change from here. And let me write beta as the basic angle. So theta is 180 degrees minus beta. and therefore sine of beta is this, therefore beta is this. I also need to change over here, that is beta. So now we find the value of beta correct to 2 decimal places, because the final answer is given correct to 1 dp. And then you should look over here, that are these values lying within this range? This one is within this range, this one is not. So I should have discarded this right away, but deliberately I carried it forward. So this could have been discarded at this point. But even if I forget, let's say I forgot to discard, so now you can discard it at the very end, because this number is outside of the range. And when it's between 0 and 180 in half a revolution, yes, there are exceptions that you get 2 answers, but over here we are getting only 1 answer, and that is the mark scheme. This is the first part. Let me highlight it, the first part, and then 71.3. That is the answer. Ignore answers outside of the range. So question number 1 is done and dusted. Now for question number 2, what do we need? We need the concept tangent is equals to sine over cos. Cot is the reciprocal of tangent, that is cos over sine. Let's write sine theta as S. Let's write cos theta as C. And now let's look at the first part. Express this equation in this form. This is which kind of format? This is a disguised quadratic equation that we have used in P1. Knowledge is used in P3. So now tangent is sine over cos. So there is the sine and there is this cos. And cot is cos over sine. So this is cos over sine. Sine 2 theta, that is the double angle that is written over here. Sine 2 theta is 2 sine theta cos theta. That is how this is written. And then what I have done is that, let me also write a step so that it clarifies what exactly am I doing. Multiply both sides by sine theta cos theta, which is written as SC. So over here S and S will cancel out, C into C is C square. Over here C and C will cancel out, so there is CS, CC will cancel out, S into S is S square. And over here sine and cos will multiply with sine and cos, that is sine square cos square. Now what do? We want everything in terms of cos, so sine square is replaced. So let me write over here, this sine square is replaced, this sine square is replaced. So sine square theta is written as 1 minus cos square theta. And then we multiply it out, we simplify, we get this equation, that is 2 cos power 4 theta plus cos square theta minus 2 equals to 0. So that is the first part for 3 marks. Let's move to the second part. Now they are asking us to solve this equation for theta between 90 and 180. So now let's apply the knowledge of DQE, disguised quadratic equation. M is the smaller of the 2 powers. M square is cos 4. And why is it called a disguised quadratic equation? Because the ratio of the highest and the second highest power, 4:2, is the same thing as 2:1, which is the truth about quadratic. And in P3, we observe that middle term factorization is used, but a lot of quadratic formula is also used. So my habit is to write down A, B, C separately, simplify B square minus 4AC first, then apply M is equals to minus B plus minus B square minus 4AC, this thing square root divided by 2A, plug in the values. Yes, you have to show everything to the examiner. So once with a negative sign, once with a positive sign, we are getting 2 values of M. This M is negative. I did not bother calculating it. The reason being because M is cos square. So cos square is negative. How can you take the square root of a negative number? You cannot. And whatever this decimal is, when we take the square root, we get a plus minus sign. So technically, the answer should be in all 4 quadrants. But because of this limitation, we are only focusing on the second quadrant. So cos of alpha is this, that is the basic angle, and in the second quadrant it's 180 minus alpha. So over here, when we are talking about second quadrant, so that is second QUAD, and then theta is 180 minus basic angle, and that is the knowledge used over here. Work in 2dp, so that final answer is in 1dp. That's the mark scheme right over here. Have a good look at it. So now question number 3. Prove the identity cos x minus tan x, that is the numerator. So cos x minus tan x, that is done over here, divided by cot, my bad, I think I said cos, it's not cos, it's cot, cot minus tan, and the denominator is cot plus tan, that is right over here. So now we simplify each one separately and then I'll divide. So this is the numerator, this is the denominator, that's the numerator, that's the denominator. Division change in multiplication, the numerator and denominator flips. SC would cancel out, SC will cancel out. C square plus S square is 1, and this is the double angle format, that is cos 2x is cos square x minus sine square x, that is replaced and you get the answer. Pretty basic. So now this thing is done. Next one, I think that question was just the identity part, nothing more to it. Question number 4. Now differentiation. Find the exact. So remember the word when we talk about P3. So there are 5 things which we can term as exact. First, second, third, fourth, and fifth. The first one is fractions. The second one is third form, whether it's square root, cube root, fourth root. This is all third form. And then there is in terms of pi, there is in terms of e, there is in terms of ln. These are the exact form in P3. And by the way, the first 3, they are applicable for P1. All 5 are applicable for P3. So now this is an application of product rule. This is u, this is u prime, this is v prime. So uv prime, vu prime, multiply it out. So this is, let me write over here, this is u, this is v prime, this is v, this is u prime. There is a positive sign. Whenever we do this exponential involvement in differentiation, that can always be taken common out. Dy by dx is 0 because they are asking for stationary points. So that is the rule. So 2e2x equals to 0. There is no solution. E raised to power of any value can only be positive. It cannot be 0, it cannot be negative. Sine 2x plus cos 2x equals to 0. Sine 2x is negative, cos 2x. Tangent 2x is negative 1. Then comes the 4-step solution. This is the third time I think we are seeing it. Tan is negative in second and fourth quadrant, but over here we are again stuck because of this range. So we are talking about the first quadrant, but we are modifying the range because it's 2x. So it's 0 till pi. Basic angle is pi by 4. So therefore we have to deal with the second quadrant. So that is pi minus pi by 4, which is 3 pi by 4. That is equals to 2x. Therefore x is 3 pi by 8. So I think I forgot to solve it a little bit more. And yeah, there it is, 3 pi by 8. So this is question number 4. It's done and dusted. Are they also asking for the y coordinate? Yes, they're asking for the coordinates. So let me just find the y coordinate also. So when x is 3 pi by 8, y equals to e raised to power of 2x sine of 2x. E raised to power of 2x sine of 2x, that is e raised to power of 3 pi by 4 sine of 3 pi by 4. Sine of 3 pi by 4 is 1 over root 2 or root 2 over 2. So this is root 2 over 2 e raised to power of 3 pi by 4. And yes, 1 over 2, this is root 2 over 2. Let me highlight it. So this is root, not this thing, my bad. This is root 2 over 2. That is this thing, e raised to power of 3/4 pi. And that's the answer. So if you want to write this thing as coordinate, I think it's a good answer, good way of writing it. 3 pi by 8 root 2 over 2 e raised to power of 3 pi by 8. Now let's look at the beauty of this question. We have fractions, we have pi, we have cert, we have e, we have pi once again. So we have pi, e, certs, fractions. This was the only thing that was missing. And don't worry, it's coming up in the other question. So now this thing is done. Another question, and this time it is about differentiation of implicit functions. So implicit functions in which we cannot make y the subject, and dy by dx is in terms of both x and y. It's in terms of both x and y. So now they are not asking for the expression, they are asking for gradient at the point 1, 0. So now what we do is that we differentiate both sides. So differentiate ln on this side, differentiate 3x square y on the other side. So now for ln, what is the rule? Derivative of ln ax plus b in general, I'm talking about, that is a over ax plus b. The bracket goes down, that is an a over here, and it looks a little bit messy, so let me write it properly. That is, the bracket goes down, it goes down, derivative goes up, derivative of x is 1, derivative of y is, this is 1 into dy by dx. Derivative of 3x square y, what is it? This is u. Hold for a second. This is u. This is v prime. And this is v. And this is u prime. So that's how the differentiation is done. Now plug in. No need to make the subject. Just plug in x is 1, y is 0. X is 1, x is 1, y is 0, x is 1, y is 0. And then make dy by dx the subject. So when you make dy by dx the subject, we get the value of half. So again, a very nice, simple but nice question. So dy by dx is half. Question number 6, parametric. Over here, we use the concept that of chain rule, dy by dx, that is equals to dy by d theta or dt divided by dx by dt. So that application is used along with the basics of differentiation. Now it says show that dy by dx is this thing. So therefore we have x is equals to tan 2t whole square. That's the way I write it. So 2 comes down, bracket remains as it is, power reduces by 1. Don't forget to multiply by derivative of bracket, and then you simplify. Tangent can be broken down into sine over cos, and sec square can be broken down into 1 over cos square. Similarly, y is cos 2t, that is simple differentiation. So now dy by dt divided by dx by dt. So this dx by dt, when I flip it, I've already flipped it. So keep in mind, so that you don't get confused, this is flipped. Because this division has been changed into multiplication, that is why it's flipped. And then we get dy by dx is equals to this thing, I think 3 marks, 4 marks, 4 marks, all good. Now it says the second part, hence find the equation of normal to the curve at the point where t is pi by 8, give your answer in this form. So now dy by dx is this thing, that is over here, and they are asking us to find the gradient and x coordinate and y coordinate. So t is pi by 8, 2t is pi by 4, cos of pi by 4 is 1 over root 2. So let me write over here. Cos of pi by 4 is root 2 over 2. That can also be written as 1 over root 2. And then we should know that tangent of pi by 4 is 1. Do we also need sine? No, we don't need sine. So now over here, this is after squaring and everything. This is the answer in the exact form. Now keep this thing in mind, that gradient of tangent is dy by dx. That's the gradient of tangent. They are asking about gradient of normal. So the negative reciprocal, that is 4 root 2. That is one important thing. This is the x coordinate. This is the x coordinate. So when we plug in t is pi by 8, the x coordinate is coming out to be 1. Similarly, this is the y coordinate. When we plug in pi by 8, the y coordinate is 1 over root 2 or root 2 over 2. So this is root 2 over 2. This is the x coordinate 1. let me write over here, this is x is 1, this is y is this, and then the gradient of the normal is this thing. Now what exactly is this? So now y minus y1 is equals to mx minus x1. Simplify, make y the subject, that is 4 root 2x minus 7 over 2 root 2. 4 root 2x minus 7 root 2 over 2. Of course, I'm checking the answer for part B. That means the answer for part 1 was already checked. And x is 1 and y is this. That is also correct. Question number 7. What is this about? This is another question of implicit. So there was this implicit and there was this parametric. So this is parametric equation, parametric differentiation. Okay. And there was one of stationary points. So it's a little bit more than half related to differentiation. So now over here, find the equation. The equation of a curve is given as such and such. Find the gradient of the curve at the point where y is equals to 1. So we don't have the x coordinate. We need the x coordinate. So now step number 1 is this. Step number 1 is this. Plug in y is equals to 1. We get this equation. So again, we get a disguised quadratic equation strikes once again. M is e raised to power of x, m square is e raised to power of 2x. Now this is about middle term factorization. We get two values of m, but remember m is e raised to power of x. So e raised to power of x is negative 3. Again, no solution. E raised to power of x is 2, x is ln 2. Now let me tell you a very, very important rule that will come in handy over here. And let me just draw this box. And that rule is this. E raised to power of ln x equals to x provided x is positive. A very, very important rule. You don't have to use the calculator. Now let's focus on differentiation. So now this is implicit, that is step number 2. So this is step number 2, that is focus on differentiation. Differentiate, differentiate. Again, let me use colored marker. So this is y. So this is y. This is y prime. This is uv. So this is v. This is v prime. This is v. Double check. This is u, v prime, v, u prime. Over here, let's repeat the same process. So let me get the highlighter ready. So now this is u. This is u, this is u prime. And this one is v. This is v prime, this is v. And now let's plug in the value. X is ln 2, y is 1. So now this is x is ln 2. So 2x, that's 2 ln 2. 2 ln 2. I need another box over here. So over here, let me write the rule of log. That is 2 ln 2 is ln 2 square, which is ln 4. That means e raised to power of 2 ln 2 is e raised to power of ln 4, which should come out to be 4. So now over here, e raised to power of 2 ln 2, that is e raised to power of ln 4, which is 4, which is 4. E raised to power of ln 2 is 2, e raised to power of ln 2 is 2. Y value is 1 over here, 1 over here, 1 square over here, excuse me, 1 over here. Simplify, we get dy by dx as negative 5 over 4. So a very nice comprehensive question. So it's implicit and it's with this rule e raised to power of ln x is x provided x is greater than 0, and this rule that is log x raise m log x base a, that is log x raised to power of m base a. So basically this rule implicit differentiation, this rule has been applied. So a very, very comprehensive paper. That is the answer, and that's all from Mathematics with Shahabia Yaqub. Stay tuned for more content.